person will be heading or chairing the program for conference day 2. And he is the chair of the Vice Chancellors of Technical Universities of Ghana and the Vice Chancellor for Dr. Kela Levan Technical University at Wa. And he is the person of Sir Professor Elias N.K. Sole. Please, Prof. Chair. I have the singular honor to introduce to you as our chair for the program. But the audience will want to know whether it's an ambush way of allowing you to chair the program or still want to take up the
Good morning to you all. The response is very, very low. Is it that the morning is not good or there's nothing good about the morning? Which one? So, good morning. Good morning. I guess you all had breakfast after a very good program yesterday. Good night. Some people say they didn't sleep well. If you haven't slept well, it's because you chose not to sleep. I slept very well and dreamt about today's program. So, why not? I've accepted this session. And if we are not ready for the presenters to start, is this set up now? Okay. So once we are ready, how long have we given? 40 minutes. Today we are going to keep to the time. So 40 minutes is 40 minutes. I'm going to start my stopwatch. Once it's 40 minutes, I signal you. But I look at you, I know you will keep to the time. And you'll probably even save us some few minutes. All right. So that we end early and go and enjoy the evening. Because we were so tired, we couldn't enjoy the evening yesterday. So today I would like to stretch my legs somewhere. Brother Abdullah, you are laughing. I said I want to stretch my legs somewhere. Before some class or something. All right, so on this note, I think we can go. What's the... Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Please do it for him. Thank you, Chair, for accepting to do that.
Morning. Hello, everyone. Oh, hello. Hi. Hello. All right, so thank you very much, Prof. Chair and team. We are very excited to be part of this great initiative where we are bringing on board all the relevant stakeholders in the research and industry space to ensure that we unlock financing and then also drive commercialization. So this will be the outline of my presentation. First, I will give the background. All right. So I will start with the background, then share the structure and activities, then also progress so far, then talk about our milestones, then end with a call to action. And I'm excited that this is an applied research institution, so we need to apply ourselves to what we have set ourselves to do. All right, so if you see this slide, basically we want to see how best we ensure a symbiotic relationship between research and academia. If you take the research capacity, the universities, the research institutions, and then also other research firms. They all have capacity. They are all able to share new ideas or generate new ideas. They also have potential value for insights that are also relevant for industry. Now, if you look at the side of industry, they also have need for innovation. They are also seeking for the practical solutions, and then they are also looking for market applications. However, there is a gap in which research and industry collaborate. There are also issues that they seek answers to, but then these answers are found on the shelves of our various institutions. So then how do we ensure that these stakeholders are engaged in a meaningful way? And so the intersection of research and industry has to be based on collaboration and also innovation. And that is where the Ghana Research and Industry Collaborative comes in. So what is the Ghana Research and Industry Collaborative? This is basically a national collaborative that brings on board all the relevant stakeholders. So that includes universities, that includes applied research institutions, that include businesses, that include policymakers, and then also donor community, to be able to work hand in hand to understand the gaps in the ecosystem, work to structure ideas and also programs, and then work to unlock financing for these commercialization ideas and also projects. So we work hand in hand. It initially started with the 25 institutions that were convened. And then the idea of the collaborative is that it's not one person who is championing the idea, but all the relevant actors are brought on board to discuss. And so the initial plan had a comprehensive action plan that outlined what each activity must address, and then also ways in which we build consensus. And so currently, the Ghana Research and Industry Collaborative is hosted by Impact Invest in Ghana. And this is where I work as a senior research and also policy officer. Basically, Impact Invest in Ghana is an ecosystem building institution that works with all actors to unlock financing for SMEs. And so, via the various research we have done, we identified that there is a gap in which research and industry has to be addressed, and that led to the formation of the Ghana Research and Industry. So this is the structure and activities. So we have a steering group that seeks to provide governance and also oversight of the activities that are run, and then we have the subcommittees that seek to address collaboration. They work on building capacities, and then also raising funds to address issues that have been identified. We also have the secretariat that is led by myself and also the team from the Impact Invest in Ghana. We also conduct training to ensure that the needs of the researchers are addressed. For instance, the issue of AI is becoming something that's more prominent, and then as applied research institutions, we need to understand the space and be able to galvanize interest and build capacity. We also organize the annual forum where we bring on board high-level of personalities to discuss issues that are affecting the research and the industry ecosystem. And then we also have the platform for engagement. So I'll move on to the progress so far. So as mentioned earlier, we have a steering committee that has 11 members. So these are drawn from various sectors. So one is from the University of Toronto, chaired by Professor Ernest Asamoah. We also have a rep from the University of Ghana. We also have a rep from the University of Cape Coast. We also have the rep from the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, the CSR, the Private Enterprise Federation, the Ghana Association of Banks, IIGH, the FEBICAPS, and the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation. And then the last but not the least is also Eurocham. So these are selected based on the areas of interest. So we have higher education institutions on one side. We also have applied research institutions. We have the business associations in there to tell us what are their needs. And then we also have other young businesses to shape the discussions and also bring on board the needs of young businesses. And then we have our anchor ministry, that is this MESTI, and then the donor partner. So what have we been able to do? We have a very functional subcommittees who meet on quarterly basis to understand what has to be done and then ensure that we drive momentum. So at the annual forum that we had last year, we were able to secure 128 attendees where we discussed critical issues of interest. Now I'm excited that based on the actionable steps or based on the outcomes, these are the things that we are leading or working towards, and some of the discussions actually feed into the theme for this conference. So one key thing is that we need to promote holistic collaboration. And so when we saw the opportunity for this third biennial conference, we decided to be part and share what we are doing, and then also drawing more resources. Now we are also working to enhance funding of opportunities in areas that allows for research uptake and also commercialization. We are also working towards protecting intellectual property, and I'm excited that yesterday this Mrs. Anku and also today Mr. Saki will be sharing more insights on that. And so this tells you that we at GRIC, we are moving ahead and trying to address these issues that impede research uptake and also commercialization. And then the last but not the least is to ensure data accessibility and then also facilitate technology transfer and also commercialization. What we also do is that we share calls for proposals. We also share funding of opportunities and then also that related opportunities that come. And these are the things that we want to engage the applied research institutions via the vice chancellors of technical universities in Ghana to bring on board their members and also their research institutions to partake in the activities of the Ghana Research and Industry Collaborative. So let me move on to the partnership and engagement. We have signed an MOU with the CSR College of Science and Technology, basically to be able to harness
the resources that they have to ensure that we are working hand in hand to promote the uptake of research and also commercialization. We've signed an MOU with the Heritage Labs. We are also having ongoing engagement with the Council of Independent Universities, the Vice Chancellors of Ghana, and then the Vice Chancellors of Technical Universities in Ghana. So we've been here is part of our strategic effort to ensure that we are building a national collaborative that addresses the need of research and industry stakeholders. And then we are also working with the business associations, because having these insights, having these innovations, where you don't engage in the industry stakeholders, you're unable to make the necessary impact. We also do learning workshops, and these are basically to build the capacities of our researchers and then also in the industry partners to understand what is needed to drive collaboration, what is needed to ensure innovation. For instance, the issue of IPs, the issue of the technology transfer, these are critical areas that researchers have to be trained on to understand the ecosystem. And one thing that I want to share with you is that we've been able to develop industry-friendly templates that basically allows you to churn your research abstract or output into ways that allows for engagement with industry partners. The way we write our abstracts is understandable because we are working within an academic environment. But there are insights, there are innovations in there that are needed by industry stakeholders. So the extent to which we write this in a way that makes easier understanding, it's something that we are working on. So based on the gaps that we have identified, we've just come up with clear outlines as to ways in which we can help the researchers to actually communicate their findings that allows for industry engagement. So basically, yeah, we have the title, the industry focus of the abstract, the gap being addressed, what are the potential uptake and also practical application of this insight or abstract that we have, what are the key recommendations, and these then become tools for advocacy and also tools to engage the industry stakeholders. So I'll share here. So this is a typical abstract, and then the theme is enhancing tiger nut milk with sodium caseinate and xanthan gum, improves the physical stability and consumer acceptability. This is a very perfect thing that any agro-processing or business or food processing company will be interested in. But if you should take a look at the abstract, it seems more technical, and so to engage them, they do not have that expertise. So what we are doing at GRIG is that we are helping researchers to be able to transform this excellent work in ways that are easy to engage in the industry stakeholders. So this is what we have done. First, we've been able to transform the topic in a very easy manner, such that my grandmother or your grandmother or anyone who hasn't had the opportunity of schooling can be able to understand. So here we are saying enhancing tiger nuts for better stability and also consumer appeal. And then here we give a very simple background such that you are able to understand. We also look at the gap being addressed, and then also we highlight the sectors of interest. So we are saying that stakeholders in the food and also beverage industry, particularly those involved in plant-based milk production and also product development, will find value in this research. Additionally, consumers seeking alternative dairy products could also benefit from improved tiger milk. So this is the approach where we want to help researchers actually communicate your findings in ways that helps in the industry stakeholders to understand. And then here we also list the potential uptake of, or there's a practical application of the abstract. And then we end with the key recommendations. So here, if it requires that the government has to adapt or improve the spaces, then we are able to engage. And this also serves as a tool to provide insight for expert testimonies with the subcommittees of parliament. We also have developed the Ghana Research and Industry digital platform. So this platform basically seeks to ensure that all applied research that have been transformed in an industry format are shared over there. So if I'm a business person and I'm seeking to understand what are the new outputs, what are the new innovations in, let's say, tiger milk or food processing, once I come onto the platform and I said, I should be able to have those lists. And then if I'm interested in any uptake or research for commercialization, I can engage those authors on the platform. We are also working to ensure that all the applied research institutions are also registered on the platform, and also their students, such that it helps to allow for collaboration and then also other engagement. So what we are asking is that we want each and everyone to sign on to the great platform, and then you share your research outputs which are already in the public domain, because there are issues of IPs that I'm sure Mr. Saki will address. And so here we are saying that any of your research outputs that we have shared, we want you to share them on this platform that allows for the whole world to see. If you right now, if you go to Google and then you type research and industry collaborative, the first point of call would be the Ghana Research and Industry Collaborative. So here we want to amplify and ensure visibility of your research outputs. Now I want to come to the milestones. Yes. So basically for this year or the next 3 years, we are actually working hand in hand to ensure that we increase research industry collaboration. And so this will be done via quarterly engagement. Now we are working towards achieving 4 collaborative projects. And for us, what we do is basically to facilitate. And so once we identify the projects that allows for industry engagement, that also serves the needs of the country, we are happy to champion with the partners and also help to ensure we seek funding for this initiative. We are also working to ensure that we build sustainable financing structures to allow GRIC to serve its purpose. We are also working
to summarize 50 research outputs in ways that are easily understandable and also allows for industry engagement. We are also working to ensure that once we are able to identify those high quality research works, we then move on to match them with the industry partners. And so we are saying that it is not enough to have these research briefs done that are easily understandable, but we also want to move into the space of identifying which business association, which these businesses would find need of this innovation, and then we match them, and then we also work to ensure that all the needed support are actually provided. So we are working in the areas of ICT and also frontier technology. We are working in the areas of education, health, and pharmaceuticals. We are working in the area of agriculture and food processing and also manufacturing. So these are the high impact areas, and these areas are drawn from the Ghana-UK strategy that has been signed by the government of Ghana and then also the government of the UK. We are also working to build capacity. We also want to support the training of businesses to understand the potential of this research outputs to help their businesses. Then we are also working to expand the reach of the Ghana Research and Industry Collaborative. So we are working hand in hand to ensure that we bring on board the Vice Chancellors Ghana. We also bring on board the Vice Chancellors of Technical Universities in Ghana, and then also the Council of Independent Universities. So we want to have the idea that as a nation, we all want to agree that these are the areas, or in the next 5 years as a country, all the higher education institutions have agreed that this is what Ghana has to do to ensure that we build this capacity for research and industry collaboration. We also want to ensure that all the policy recommendations are fed into the expert testimonies at the various subcommittees of Parliament. So in those areas where we talk, subcommittees of this Parliament are not getting informed ideas or data, we want to go to them with all the relevant policy recommendations. So what we want to do is that we want to address those gaps. Yesterday, the gap talked about the mindset. Once you identify a gap, it serves as a challenge for you to harness all the resources and address those gaps. So I believe that we have these brilliant ideas that if subcommittee members of Parliament are in the known, they'll be able to take informed the decision that will ensure that the country is actually progressing. We also have our upcoming, there's a great annual forum. And this is high-level event where we discuss issues to ensure policy recommendations, to ensure that businesses are in the known areas that they need to be focused on. So what we are asking is that what are the emerging issues that you would want us to actually consider? We are also offering spaces for panelists and also guest speakers. We are also looking for these partnerships and then also allow for these actors to see the various innovations and insights that pertain to the various research institutions. Now we are also having a 3-year funding proposal. What we do at this break is that we don't initiate this collaborative the project. Some may come from us, but basically we want to allow for these members to actually collaborate based on the need or gap in the ecosystem, and then we come in to actually facilitate and bring on board all the relevant impact funds to support these initiatives. So we have 4 main objectives. One is that we want to secure funding and also pilot innovative financing mechanisms, aiming to actually catalyze collaborative research initiatives and drive socio-economic development through enhanced access to finance for research industry collaboration. We also want to strengthen research industry collaboration and amplify the impact via knowledge sharing and also dissemination by organizing and also facilitating internships and also mentorships and engaging diverse stakeholders. We also want to enhance the skills and also capabilities of researchers and also the industry partners to be able to collaborate and also translate their research findings into practical application and also uptake. And then the last but not the least is to advocate for supportive policies and also foster collaboration by engaging policymakers and stakeholders to ensure that we have an enabling environment that allows for research industry collaboration. And that would also lead to policy changes for increased investment. So these are the four areas that we identified, and then we are working hand in hand with other partners. So these are the partnerships that we are currently working on. So basically, the UK Development Aid is our main partner, and then also RISA. With the Venture Capital Fund, they help in the setup of then Ghana Impact Investment Research in the industry collaborative. And then also we have the IHG that hosts the secretariat, and also our anchor, the anchor ministry, that is MESTI. So these are the pipeline of opportunities that we have. We are currently working with Expertise France, Jospon, this group of companies, and then also the National Entrepreneur Innovation Plan, for them to understand what we want to achieve and then align these objectives with their goals and then also their plans. And so we are asking that if there are innovative projects that we have, we would want to amplify this and then be able to ensure that we have the needed funding to achieve these goals. Then we have our potential partners, so that includes this DBG, the African Union, the British International Investment, this MasterCard, FMO. So we are actually leveraging all the partners of IIPH to be able to secure impact funds for research uptake and also commercialization. So I want to end my presentation is with a call to action, that we are asking you humbly to sign onto this great platform to actually create visibility and also engage with the ecosystem players. So on the side of the industry, we are asking them to share their research needs on the platform and other means so that we could share with you as these researchers so that we understand where the industry is actually going. We are also asking academia and also applied this research to share their high quality research outputs with us, those that are already in the public domain. We will then work to translate them into industry friendly formats so that it allows for engagement, for uptake, and also commercialization. We are also asking that if there are this capacity building gaps that we have, also share that with us such that when we are engaging with the donor partners, we are able to articulate those needs in addition to those that we have already, such that we are working hand in hand to build the capacity of our researchers. And then we also want to engage you if there are other funding opportunities that you know that you want to share with us. I am available to take note of that and then we'll work with you hand in hand. We also want to ensure that we access the pool of impact this research output. So I would ask that the last year abstract that was done and then any other research work that is of interest to industry, I would ask that you share that with me so that will enhance the work that we are doing. And then also to ask if there are any funding partners that you know, please share them with us such that we are able to work in a more collaborative manner to ensure that your goals and our goals are achieved. So on this note, thank you very much for your time.
Presenter, and when the time is due for Q&A, we will do that. So, Mr. Lamte of Greek, his presentation on the resounding topic of bridging the gap between research institutions and industry. And we all know throughout history, universities have been the beacons of knowledge, innovation, research. What we have been lacking is the collaboration between the academia and the industry. And it has gone further to add another ingredient, that is financing, which is the lifeblood of every research. No matter how good your conceived idea may be, without financing, you may not be able to do that. Once again, let's give him a big round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Lamte. Ofori Asamoah is a Regional Programs Officer, Africa Office of Vice President, International OVP, University of Toronto, Canada, to give us a presentation on the topic, Improving Research Industry, Collaboration for Wealth and Job Creation. Thank you, Professor Ofori Asamoah, for your presence here.
The chair for this Professor sorry, Vice Chancellors of the Technical University present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me say official good morning to you. It's official because probably I've met you, but that one was a personal good morning. So this is official good morning. And thank you very much for the opportunity to be in your midst on your third industrial applied research conference. I know this is third, but it's first for me. So don't let it be the last, so that I will also move to the 10, while you're already at the 10. My topic is improving industrial research collaboration for wealth and job creation. Thank you, Julius. I think you've laid a very good foundation where you have given a practicalize how Greek is working on this. And I will just go through this because I have 40 minutes. Probably today is a day of 4. So I'll go through 4 strategies instead of 5. And okay, I will just look at the lessons of research and industry, a bit of evidence around the world where research and industry have collaborated, what has been the result. Then, the need for research industry collaboration in Ghana. If it is not broken, you don't fix it. So if there's need for such collaboration, then there's probably broken edges, which we need to sharpen it. And of course, I will put a lot of emphasis on my recommendation. And since today is a day of 4, I will give 4 big recommendations for industry, academia, and that of government. So that is how I want to. In my university, the next 5 years per our strategy is to defy gravity. You know, gravity brings so, and so it's going contrary to gravity. So I wanted to test it and move up whether I would not come down. But when I did it, I couldn't defy that. University, industry, and government are always identified as pillars of many innovations that drive wealth and job creation and innovation systems. And I know as academics, various theories on UIC, that's University Industry Collaboration, like NIS and TripleS and Porter's Diamond, all affirms this. In the traditional sense, as we know, universities serve industry in 2 ways. That's traditionally. One is to provide workforce necessary to run the industry, and furnishes, and 2 is to furnish innovation, which that innovation either starts a business or expand an existing business. Universities always desire to contribute to theory and to contribute to industry. On the other hand, research is restrained by profitability. So they want to make money. Industry is restrained by profitability, so they want to make money. They want to focus and devote more time to make money. So very little, especially in Africa, is devoted to research. So research is mostly therefore left with academia and research institutions to carry that one out. So there appears to be an independence between industry, which is focusing on profitability, making money, recruiting people, bringing product, and the rest. And that of research or academic also focusing on research, producing human capital, and as it goes along, brings a bit of business, especially when you have innovation hubs and acceleration hubs, among others. In view of this structure, as far as science and engineering disciplines are concerned, creating linkages between these 2 sides of the river, which is research and industry, have potential to better both. That is, the potential of bettering both industry and universities. As you may know, a new type of global academia is emerging, which is embodied by what we call the fifth generation universities. Basically, fifth generation universities are universities that integrate research, teaching, knowledge, and exchange, and widespread societal benefit. And the key aspect is that they do all these things underpinned by strategic alliances. So having that such strategic alliance either with government, with industry, or with both. And when you have that, there are a lot of these evidences around the world. So I want the Prof. Chair, I want to look at some evidence around the world where research and industry have collaborated and the resulting effect, what has led to, with some examples around the world, including Africa. The global higher education market size has been estimated to be in the region of 736 billion as at 2023. And the question I want to ask is that out of this 736 billion, what is the share of the TTUs here? What is your contribution? Did you contribute 5 billion or 10 billion based on all the things that you do? I don't know. But probably that's also another research to find how much are you contributing towards the global industry contribution of 730. And probably not only the TUs, also find out what is Africa's contribution towards this. This 773 is more or less like 10 times the GDP of Ghana. So the education sector alone contributes 10 times the GDP of Ghana. And when we look at it, and the education sector is also projected to grow around 12%, which is more than the world average growth, which means that the world growth is largely also driven by the education sector. From my university, which is University of Toronto, total revenue for 2023 alone was $4.1 billion. And it is made up of $2.2 billion in student fees. $2.2 billion in student fees, which is about 53% of that revenue. And $1.2 billion government funding, which is about 29% of total revenue. If you break it down, it's about that 4.1 billion is more than 50% of government of Ghana's total revenue for 2023. Just one university. So if you contribute 20%, and we are 10 universities, it means that we can even generate more revenue than the government. And that is what the East West has. In terms of research funding from industry, not research funding that comes probably I want to do research or to have funded to the university fund. But the industry says like Toyota says that take 100 million, take this. Last year alone, University of Toronto had 1.4 billion, which was received as external research funding. And probably if, I don't know how much the TUs receive as external, but if there's a way of convincing Gerson, which is my president, to give the 400 million to you, I would have done that, but there's no way, unfortunately, to convince Gerson or to convince Joseph to do that. Yes. Around the world, improved collaboration between research and industry has resulted in countless number of companies being created, generating millions of employment and creating a lot of things for future. let me indicate that in the world, the top 10 universities, none of them, their revenue from fees is always less than 60%. And the example I gave of UFT, which is University of Toronto, which is 53% of revenue coming from fees, is a typical example. If you take University of Oxford, every single lecturer or academic receive an average of $53,000 for research, external, funded by industry. And Stanford is high, $107,000 from industry. Every academic at least receive not less than $107,000 from industry. And since you are TUs, a typical example would be probably to use MIT. MIT received $2.2 billion from research sponsored by industry in 2023. 2.2 funded by industry. I keep on asking because we are looking at research industry collaboration as to how much the TUs probably we also need to document this. Prof. Chair, universities with strong research and industry collaboration have student fees constituting less than 60% of their total revenue. In Africa, all the examples I've given are outside Africa. But let me give an example of Africa to confirm this. In Africa, University of Cape Town, I'm here because UFT have a collaboration with 8 African universities. And University of Cape Town is one of them. University of Cape Town is in South Africa, is one of them. University of Cape Town, which is ranked mostly number 1, number 2 by most of the ranking agencies in Africa, has 25% of its total revenue from research paid by industry. This is South Africa. Immediately we take the South out, it's Africa. So, yes, so we can replace the South with West. So 25% are research revenue paid by industry, and that is in the region of 270 million USD. Just last year, I got research income come from industry, which comes largely through research industry collaboration. Apart from revenue, I'm talking about 4 things evident from the world. 4 of them is the fact that research industry collaboration actually gear up the income, revenue of universities. And most universities have at least around 25% of their revenue coming from research paid by industry, and not a school fees or tuition fee constitute less than 60% around that. The second thing is that research industry collaboration, when you have research being paid by industry, it also improves your ranking. So no wonder University of Cape Town also is ranked high. Why? Because most world rankings, for instance, the Times World Higher Education World Rankings uses as one of the 30 key performance indicators, which are actually put into 5 categories, and one of them is industrial income for research, and that is about 2.5% of the total mark. Whilst research is 30%, citations is 30%, international outlook is 7.5%. In addition, the third one is that not only research industry collaboration improves the revenue of the universities or improving their rankings in the world, it also helps in job creation. It also helps in job creation. So there are ample evidence around the world that indicate that strong collaboration between research and industry have generated businesses. I indicated that. Let me start first with UFT. sorry, when I use UFT, I mean University of, so that's how we UFT have 13 innovation hubs on campus. And each, they have specializations. So some are into health, some are into this, some are sector agnostic. So they do everything. And this university, these hubs have created more than 10,000 jobs. They have generated 600 businesses from the university, 600 different businesses. And those businesses have created more than 10,000 jobs. If you take the world, the other universities, like Harvard and the rest, big businesses have come out from research industry collaboration. So this table gives a lot of that. Just imagine the number of people these companies, resulting largely from research and industry, have created. Facebook has over 67,000 employees, and Google has 183,000 employees. FedEx, a total of employees of 529,000. And Dell around 133,000. And A2I about 100 employees. Just pick 5 of these companies, which are as a result of collaboration between industry and research. It generates 1.2 million jobs. 5 of these companies, when you put together, the number of jobs they've created is 1.2 million sustainable jobs. You can create jobs that are not sustainable. They work today, 3 months, 4 months, you lay them off. But it goes into the record that it's job. Just imagine if Prof Chair, if STU, Sunyani Technical University, and each of the 10 TUs partnering industry to commercialize research, which they have an IP register, intellectual property or patent registered, and this company employing, let's say 100,000, that means that TUs alone can create 1 million jobs. When I mention this, it may seem unimaginable that how can we do and create 100 jobs, 100,000 jobs. But I'm sure this was the situation for University of Harvard University in 2003. Facebook was created in 2004. So if Harvard University in 2003 was looking at a company that would create about 183,000 jobs, it was unimaginable. But just a year after, 2004, down after 10 or 20 years, it is now a reality. Can we partner industry and do same in our continent and in our country? Prof Chair, industry research partnership keeps on generating jobs. Let me still, pardon me to still use UFT because I know one more than all the others. I've received over 2.5 billion from industry to create jobs. And that goes into job creation. I want to now move my attention to look at what is the need. Is there a need in Ghana for research and industry to collaborate, for academic institutions to collaborate with industry in the terms of research? I think there's a need based on 4 reasons. First has to do with research output don't align mostly with industry need, and I think Julius have given some aspect. Because we have the capacity, which he admitted. There are a lot of researchers in the industry. But what drives our research? Is it issues from industry? Even let's take student thesis and project work or whatever. I think thesis and project work. What drives those thesis and project work? Is it an issue from industry, from Ghana, also probably here, or from Gold Face in Western region, or probably from some of the companies in the north? Is it some of these that drives it? There's a mismatch between what researchers are doing and what industry needs. And such mismatch is underpinned by the fact that who provide the funding. There was a research I think was commissioned to be conducted, and so I checked all the research. I think about 24,000 research in Ghana. That's about, I'm sure about, I think 2020. And the source of funding. And it came out that most 60% of the funding comes from International Development Corporation or World Bank or DFIs. Those that are related to industry are funded by these institutions. And about another 26% were by private equity and other things. What it means is that what industry needs are not mostly what we research on. And so for us to drive funding from industry, it must meet their needs. It must suit what they want, because they put their money at what they want. I indicated industry is for profit. So if you are researching here, what I need is here. I won't put my money here because you are going on the left. I want the right so that I can make profit from there. So there's that mismatch, and that is why the need for industry and research to collaborate. One of them has to do with what drives our research, apart from the funding. Most research from academic institutions in Africa are geared towards promotion. Sorry to indicate that. I'm sure have the two gates open so that when you are coming, I can go through one of them. It's geared towards academic promotion. They are geared towards improving, or there's funding that is driving it up. So the real need of industry and institutions that want to fund are not there. When you take last year, industries funded on average 4.3 million to institutions, to universities. And they keep on our way, and others keep on increasing that. So for instance, Prof. Chair, they are not driven by industrial relevant societal needs or global needs or global trends. These days we are talking, let me use TT, sorry for YouTube. You have a lot of mining companies and oil and gas companies there. Oil and gas companies, mining companies are interested in ESG, environment, social and governance issues related to what they do, issues of sustainability. There are issues of, these days, companies want to fund AI and its relation to what they do. There are issues of those social science, there are issues of justice, gender equity and social inclusion. These are what companies want to fund, for example, but these are emerging issues, but where our research geared towards. So, Prof. Chair, the second thing has to do with dwindling funding for public tertiary institutions. Funding for tertiary institutions, as you all know, is reducing. Not only dwindling, but even those that do not come on time. Probably unless VCs say that has changed as at yesterday. But the last time I checked, it wasn't timely. With general funding from AGIs, managers of institutions have to fund innovative ways of augmenting their revenue to increase as a result of increasing costs. Research revenue, especially from industry, is another good source of revenue that makes strengthening research industry collaboration very crucial if you are able to tap into that. Targets should be on multinational companies in the operational areas of the technical universities. Establishing research institutes that aligns with the mandate of the technical universities and the sectors and the companies in your area will be a good strategic fit to consider. So you intentionally set up research institute that aligns with them. So if mining companies are interested in ESG, you have a research institute purposely for ESG, so that it aligns with them. then they will be obliged or they won't find the need to fund it. So for instance, just a bit of a recommendation. So for instance, if you have oil and gas and mining companies in areas, you can have a center for a ESG or center for a CSR and sustainability center. Those in Center for MSc and JESI, but let's say STU, because you have a lot of MSNE and issues relating to gender equity and inclusion here. So a center for research in that. Then they can have attract funding from industry. The third one, which is the need, has to do with unemployment. Let me remind us that I'm talking about improving research, industry collaboration for job creation and employment. The average rate of unemployment in the country as of 2023 is 14.7%. And probably this seems like figure. What it translates means that youth within the ages of 15 to 35 and 1.2 million are not working at all. Then close to 1.7 million are doing jobs that are not below them. And so there's urgent need to bridge this gap. There have been studies by Ghana Statistical Service that confirm that vulnerability drivers of violent extremism in the north is driven mostly by issues of unemployment. So collaborating with industry in research to reduce the unemployment gap is crucial for technical universities. Chair, finally, on the need is the need for TUs to be a fifth generation universities. Technical universities are for applied science. So a fifth generation university is an advanced type of entrepreneurial university. Fifth generation goes beyond entrepreneurial universities in the digital age and cross-sector collaboration issues. As we get note of the fact that, based on the fact that there's huge unemployment, there's need to increase our revenue, and research, collaborating with industry is another source, and the fact that doing this also, I want to, Chair, move to give a couple of recommendations. Based on the need that research industry collaboration can increase revenue of technical universities, increase ranking in the world, and also the fact that it also creates employment and also improve stability. I therefore recommend, Prof. Chair, that technical universities should take note of the following as they collaborate with industry. One, research funding should be summarized into policy and industry views. We do a research, the whole methodology is 40 pages. The industry don't have time to go do that. So if we can summarize them into policy brief, very good pictorial, and share, that will be a good point to start with. And I think that, as a suggestion, future conference of the TTU should have a section with industry from various sectors, so that you provide policy brief and innovation brief. So you have industry, big industry, all the industries, and you have a section that says that since the last conference, these are the new things that we have brought. And not the academic that we understand as academicians. So that you brief them on that and say that this area, you are into this manufacturing, this technology, this is how it will increase your output and reduce your cost and increase your profitability. All that we need is that put in 1 million, by next year, next 2 years, we will do proof of concept and get it to you. And that should be my first, that is my first recommendation. My second project is research institutions to collaborate with industry for industry to have access to their database. Industry is always looking at profitability. Is the revenue coming? Are we reducing costs? Do we have to employ somebody? You have done a lot of them. Let that database be available. And that is where I commend Greg for this initiative. So that the managing director of the company, the research director of the company with the Greg can know we want to have a business model. We want to expand our business to this region or to this country. What is the standard for expanding businesses to West African countries? Is there a model that has already been developed? Business model to share with. Then they can go into it and check and say that, oh, this was done by TTU. This was done by Sunyani Technical University. Let's get to the Vice Chancellor, let's get to them and give us more on that. Because in their brief, they have indicated something. This is what we are looking for. Then they can fund you, give you the millions of dollars for your next research. 3, researchers should invite industry to witness the product developed through research and industry open days to get input from industry. Most researchers, some researchers, they think that innovations we do, we are not practicing it. I'm talking now as also academic. So when we have done that, get an open day, invite them to go through and see how best to. Prof, I know you are looking at your time. Just give me an injury time, and I'm not sure I'm close to injury time. To work and understand industry, you must be with them. If I want to understand you, I must be with them. I must be with you. In the same way, if researchers want to understand, in the same way, researchers should focus on action research, in which they spend some time with industry to learn and shape the understanding of industry issues to shape research. This is not faculty internship anyway, but the objective is the same as the student internship. So probably you have to help me to find a name for it. I'm not asking for faculties to go and do internship, but the objective is the same. So please, that's also another research for us. Help me to find a name for it. Because we need to understand industry and know what they do. And in other countries, during the long vacation, academics do internship. And it's counted as CPD. So if you are going for promotion, from let's say senior lecturer to your internship with industry is part. It's not only the teaching and research that you have done. Your work with industry is part. And I humbly submit that this is, you may, the emphasis is on the may, look at it. Lastly, for AGIs, the management of intellectual property rights and evaluation system are serious incentive for faculty to work with industry. If you need to have a research, your research policy to provide an incentive for researchers to work with industry and also provide a way of how to commercialize their research. The average professors have about 70 IPs, patents. And one of my friends who had 84 at UFT, out of the 84, 6 of them have developed it with his own business. The other 20 are giving him an average of $70,000 a year as royalty because of the patent, because he has developed and they are working and every day he has to get that money. Establishing a fair sharing arrangement of royalty payment to researchers also increase their interest and commitment to commercialize the process. A further incentive mechanism is appraisal system for academics based not only on traditional teaching and research methods, but also consider relevance of research to industry. So you are published 30, 40 papers. Probably that's what can earn you to go to ASO Prof. But how relevant is those research to industry? So not only that application and getting it, but it's relevant to industry should be taken into consideration in the appraisal system. Either than that, you continue to have research this way, industry this way. We are published, but it doesn't attract. So it doesn't attract funding in that aspect. Prof Chair, although government is here, not here, I'm sure the regional minister have rep, but you have to send it to government. In strengthening industry research collaboration, government funding support is crucial. Government being the initiator of development should put up force to help mitigate the risk of private agents to find it difficult to invest in research. So they should do this in the form of tax incentive. And government, I humbly submit that, for instance, companies that fund higher education institution researchers based on the country's priority areas should not be taxed 25%. Tax them 20%. So it shows proof that last year I provided $500,000 to Sunyani Technical University for research. Tax 20% instead of 20%. So that 5%, they will always be incentivized to send it to researchers to do research. Please take it to government for me because you let the government come before I spoke. I'm speaking. Okay. Financial instruments should also be another way of incentivizing. So, for instance, innovation, R&D innovation grant, which is established, and the key aspect is that this fund is there, but your research should be relevant to industry, or you should work with industry to do this research. Prof, there, as I conclude, and I'm sure I should be in my injury time, products resulting from research industry collaboration can be commercialized. For instance, research leading to the production of COVID-19 vaccine in Babura University in Nigeria is yielding huge revenues for the institution. During the COVID, Babura University went into research into COVID vaccine and is yielding a lot of royalties for that university. Secondly, better research can improve university position ranking list. And this is also good in terms to attract a lot of students. If your ranking is high, attract a lot of students. Once you attract a lot of students, it increases your revenue because you charge them fees. And thirdly, this will also lead to alliances with industry, creating income, employment, and opportunities. And on that note, research, improving research industry collaboration is key because it will improve on our revenue, create jobs, and also strengthen the ecosystem and the economy. Thank you very much.
I could see our venerable vice chancellors salivating for just 10% of what, for instance, University of Toronto is getting from industry every year. So, Prof, thank you once again. You have amply demonstrated the synergy between the academia and the industry. And it is through sustainable funding that truly we can unleash the research potentials of our hard-working faculty members here. May this conference open unimaginable doors for research funding for the technical universities. Thank you very much. We now move on to the final keynote presentation. and that is on the topic publish or perish. And that sadly reminds me of the late rector of Sunyani Technical University, Professor John Fodjo. Anytime he meets you, he will tell you, publish or perish. May his soul rest in perfect peace. This morning, ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have Mr. Emmanuel Saki to explore beyond publish and perish maxim how we can have research that will impact us globally. Once again, Mr. Emmanuel Saki, you are warmly welcome to deliver on the topic beyond publish or perish, maximizing impact of research.
Responses that week. Good morning. Good morning. Excellent. Mr. Prof Chairman, Vice Chancellors here present, Deans and other senior members, distinguished guests, representatives of the 10 technical universities gathered here, and other universities, participants, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to first of all express my appreciation to the LOC for inviting me to be with you and to share my thoughts on this very important subject matter. Permit me, Prof. Chair, to just indicate that I am very happy today for one important milestone that has been achieved in the field of intellectual property. For the first time in the history of the IP discourse and non-certain processes, Africa, together with other developing countries, have championed the adoption of an international treaty on genetic resources and traditional knowledge associated with genetic resources. And this treaty was adopted on the 24th of May. And I'm very, very happy because I once served as the African facilitator for 4 years. And it has taken us 25 years to be able to conclude on that. And I do hope that those of you who are involved in these resources, you find them very inspiring to carry on your research in the area. Let me also highlight the fact that I am, well, let me just applaud my colleagues. I believe our brother Julius Lamte for his incisive presentation, and of course Professor Ernest Ofori Asamoah of the University of Toronto for also lending your thoughts to us on research, industry, and government collaborations. Today I just want to talk a bit about university, beyond publish or perish, maximizing the impact of research through the global intellectual property system. And I have chosen to reverse the topic in a form of content. So my first presentation will relate to the global intellectual property system. It appears to me that many of us here and the various places that we have been to find it very difficult to appreciate the value of intellectual property. So I will just probably provide an overview of the global intellectual property system, particularly those related to the 10 technical universities. Then I will look at the impact of IP commercialization and then address the question of published or perished paradox. Then, of course, I also have a few recommendations, maybe not to the extent of Prof. Go, but mine will be just a short presentation. The first is about the global IP system. And I have provided different policy areas that in the global intellectual property system is addressing. So I wish to inform you that anytime we are talking about intellectual property, please don't restrict it to IP registration. IP registrations are just one component of the global intellectual property system. Technical universities take advantage of other other operational aspects of the intellectual property system, rather not only the registration system. So we have, for example, innovation awards. And I used to work as an intellectual property development executive at the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization. And we have money for innovation awards in US dollars. And nobody counts for the money. So, and the monies are sitting there, yet you are organizing fairs, you are organizing awards. So you can write to the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization or the World Intellectual Property Organization and benefit from the award system. Once the WIPO put in place a $20,000 award system for Africa Union, and for over about 5 years or so, nobody was, in fact, as a matter of fact, Africa Union couldn't even organize that competition, which would even let the researchers be able to be selected for the awards. So for a long time, that money was sitting there without anybody, touching it. The other aspect is that we are developing intellectual property policies. Can we also seek advice from the actors in the ecosystem, the IP players? Then, of course, I also want to mention the fact that there is a whole host of information and technical information services provided within the ecosystem of the IP framework or the global IP system, which we can rely on to be able to build our knowledge and our capacities in the field. Then, of course, I want to highlight the fact that there's also human capital development and knowledge uptake issues that are addressed. And look at some of the programs that the global intellectual property system offers to technical universities like you. We have customized programs on innovation and entrepreneurship that is also available to, for your benefit, transfer of technology and IP management and strategic planning, executive management programs. We do have, some of the vice chancellors from other universities visiting WIPO, for example, just to understand the IP system, to be able to drive policy changes in their universities. And I think we have to take advantage of that. We have distance learning programs, and I sometimes wonder why this part of the world in Africa, we are not taking advantage of the WIPO distance learning programs. You go to Asia, and they are making requests in thousands. China can send about 30,000 to WIPO to train them online on basics of intellectual property, just to be able to understand the remit of it and to be able to guide in your research journey. And I think this is something that we have to do in this part of the world. Take advantage of the GL 101, which is a free course for anybody, anywhere, to be able to understand intellectual property. I have traveled across Africa, almost every single country I have visited, and I always visit universities, and they always tell me they don't understand intellectual property, yet we have courses that are free for all, for us to, upgrade our knowledge on this issue. Technological information contained in patents. My predecessor was talking about industry research collaboration. And then you highlighted the issue to do with the fact that research, protocols or research methods or research area of interest may not be in sync with the industry needs. May I also suggest that in addressing those issues and in trying to find solutions to whatever problem we have identified, whether demand-driven, whether by our own conjecture or by our own intuitive, understanding, there is always the solution. And I think this is where a lot of researchers in the academic area are missing some important information related to their research work. You have technological information contained in patents, and they are the latest technological information addressing over 80 to 100 million solutions in the world. So why are we not consulting them when we want to do research, just to find out whether even what we are trying to achieve has been done already? And we never consult this information, only to finish our research to realize that indeed we have reinvented the wheel. And probably this may be the reason why a number of our research outcomes are not being taken up by industry, because they can just go and do the go into the WIPO the patent databases and find solutions for themselves. So they will not even come to you to acquire any solution that you have provided, except where your solution is beyond what has been disclosed in patent information. I have traveled also quite a bit across the world. I went to a Sweden company called ABB Robotics. It is the largest at that time, I don't know today, the largest robotic company in the world. And if you enter the place, they have what they call search examiners. All they do 24/7 is to go into patent databases, and they are searching for solutions and telling their researchers, do not do research in this area. Maybe in this area, your competitors are ahead of you, and therefore, if you go into this area, you waste a lot of your money. So they are doing this on daily basis. So I also want to inform you that all these tools are available for researchers to be able to utilize to build their research agenda and address the research questions. I have also made this available together with some other tools called patent searching tools. And they are all over the world. Google Patent, Expertsnet, USPTO website. How many researchers consult these websites when you are doing your research methods, or you are carrying on your research in terms of research methods? We do not even consult that. And I remember when I was doing my postgraduate programs, it was related to some histological, aspect of cocoyam, as we know them, with the oxalates in the cocoyams. And then I couldn't find any, way of carrying out this histology of that, of the oxalates in cocoyam. And then I turned to patent documents, and there I found a very useful method that someone has utilized for an invention, and then I employed it, and immediately a lot of my work, got done. And we published in high impact journals. So these are avenues that we need to consult as we move along. The World Intellectual Property Organization also has a lot of research tools for managing and sharing IP information. So I have listed a whole lot of them there, and most of them are free for all of us to be able to access. So whilst we are in our universities thinking about how to conduct impactful research, we must recognize that impactful research can only be done if you know the state of the art in the area in which you are operating. Because if you don't know the state of the art in the area in which you are operating, then chances are that you may also be operating in the dark. Because by the time you finish your research, you will discover that apparently your work has been done already in Canada, somewhere. And then you have to now think about how then do I go back to do this. And we have, the reports have indicated to us that 20 billion euros are spent duplicating research in Europe. So I can imagine how many of such are being done in this part of the world. The other thing that I thought I should also share with you in relation to intellectual property is what I call intellectual value chains. And this is something that I probably wish to spend some few minutes on that. You know, we carry out research, and then at the end of it, we churn out what we call intellectual assets. And the intellectual assets, we then determine whether these intellectual assets can be absorbed by industry. Whatever reason it is, let me just inform you that the assets you have generated as a researcher or as somebody, an academic, should have been considered at the beginning of your research journey to be able to determine the value in your research at the end of generating the assets. Because in the IP world, we have 3 stages in the assets value chain. The first one is the assets themselves, which are the valuable objects that we have generated as a result of our research. And then you move on to the next one, which then has to enable us to be able to define it in terms of property. Because if you have an asset and you don't define it in terms of property, then obviously it doesn't become too useful for any third party. So a businessman who sits in industry and wants to use any research endeavor, whether it is for addressing his needs or a new way of doing things which would be beneficial to him, the issue is that he will question you regarding ownership. So the ownership question, if you don't resolve it, then obviously turning those assets into valuable commercial ventures become very difficult for it to happen. And that is why a lot of us in this part of the world are also struggling with technology transfer to industry. The professor who spoke before me highlighted how much professors in US and Canada, I believe, are earning on annual basis through research and industry collaborations. And then he was just informing me that they're generating at least 70,000 in royalties, am I right? Royalties on annual basis. But this is coming from value addition to the research endeavor. And so if you don't do your research very well, then obviously all the outcomes that you generate, technology, machinery, designs, textiles, creative content, databases, virtual products, modification of existing artifacts, and the like, we are unable to then advance to the next stage in our assets value chains, which is now the IP registrations. And I think for the IP registrations, I am very, sad anytime I want to talk about IP registrations. I was in the University of Ghana, and then they were giving me statistics about IP registration, and then everything concerning intellectual property was registered as 0. No patents, no trademarks, no industrial designs, no utility models, no plant variety protection, no, what else am I missing? No integrated circuit. Everything was 0, except one, where they said they had only 1 patent. And I find it very strange that how do you have 1 patent with all these researchers in the university running academic programs, running research programs? And then when I was also a researcher, when I was doing research, I wanted to prove to some of my seniors, I was then a young researcher, prove to my seniors that it is possible to file applications, patent applications. So during the Rollins era, there was a PNDC 305A that had been put in place. I was the first person in Ghana, together with my 2 colleagues, who filed patents under the PNDC law 305A at that time. So whilst I was working at CSIR, we got the first patent for CSIR, and I remember the patent very well. Generation of energy from sea waves. And not recent, and not quite long ago, I was reading research the papers in South Africa, and they are exploring the option of generating electricity from sea waves. What an useful technology, and yet we are sitting on such technologies and we are not able to develop that. The other issue I would also want to address has to do with this research output as public goods and private goods. Many of us, our research endeavors have been considered as public goods. And anytime we talk about public goods, we are referring to public funded research, right? I serve on I'm a board member of the CGIAR. You know, it's a global consortium. And they are always advocating for public goods. And I tell them that the reason why you are advocating for public goods is because your research output is at the lower end of the IP protection system. At the lower end of the IP protection system. The lower end of the IP protection system, there is no protection. You only generate the IP and then you keep it there either under contract or to give to a third party or industry. And the reason why an investor will not invest in that type of research output is that he is coming to put in a lot of money. And so he is asking himself, do I have the guarantee
that if a third party comes to challenge me, I will be able to have a basis to stand on to say, yes, this is an IP that has been registered, which I have obtained from this owner A, and therefore I have every legitimate right to be able to use the IP for my research, product development, and commercialization. Those things do not exist in our part of the world, so we are unable to do them. And that is why you see in our space, and I have been to a number of your universities, I do not see a lot of intellectual property registered because we are always operating at the weak triple helix linkage arena. And when you're operating at the weak triple helix linkage arena, governments do not even want to sponsor any research because they keep on investing money into research and they are not getting any return. No industrial player will be thinking of investing $1 million, $1 billion into a business or a research output where there are no guarantees of ownership. Now there is no protection, and then they just invest their money into that business. What if tomorrow a competitor comes to him and he's also doing the same thing? Which basis will he be able to stand on to go to the court to say, I do not want this thing to be done, and therefore I need damages or any action against the practice that is being done? Mr. Chair, I think as academics, we just need to sit down and think through some of these issues carefully. How do we build strong triple helix linkage? Industry, research, and government. And the seamless aspect of it is through the IP system. Because if you don't do it through the IP system, you may get your technology transferred to industry, but trust you me, it will be very weak linkage you are creating. And it will not be sustainable because it will come to a point where you would realize that the party that has become the beneficiary of your research is now facing legal questions. He may not even know whether your research output, you yourself, you did not copy from another researcher. So those issues will just come into play, and therefore we just have to put in place strategies to do this or achieve this end. Let me just turn my attention to impact of research commercialization. And I think I will just take it a little bit easy at this stage. I was part of the team that was called to speak to the vice chancellors in 2017, the RUE forum that took place in Nairobi, Kenya. And we spoke to the vice chancellors and we told them, we need to put in place institutional IP policies to guide research and to guide intellectual asset management. Because if you're unable to direct intellectual asset management, you are either going to lose your assets or you are not going to have a good bargain for your assets. And I think we need to really think through this very well. And this is what occurred in the United States many, many years ago, where two congressmen, Bay and Dole, proposed to the US government that they need to put in place a law allowing private, public research organizations and universities to retain or to file for patents and retain titlement in the grant of patents. And this is what has now come to be called the Bill-Dole Act of the United States. And if you look at the graph that is on your right side, my left side, you will see that just after some few years after the Bill-Dole Act, inventive activity in the United States started skyrocketing. And it has gone on and on and on and on until today. And I think Prof. who spoke before me was also highlighting how much intellectual property is being generated in Canada. And your university, by the way, I've also been the University of Toronto. The issue is that, are we deliberate about these issues? So I am calling for deliberate action between now and possibly some few years to come to put in place some of these measures to address the questions that we are facing or we are faced with in our time. And you can see also from this output and outcome and impact that indeed, this is indeed what is happening. Over a period of time, US has established over 3,000 technology transfer offices and of course, university licensing offices, and they are generating a whole lot of licensing agreements, in their university, and generating 1.3 billion income from their research. And we have also been told that since 1980, over 3,500 companies have been formed based on research and development. And I think, Prof, you questioned how many universities in Ghana can boldly say we have conducted research over 10-year period, 15-year period, and then when we turn to industry, the research outputs have created 10 industries, 20 industries, 15 industries, 30 industries, 100 industries. And those are the issues that we are talking about, creating impact from research and development. Look at Massachusetts Institute of Technology alone. Yesterday I was trying to update my knowledge on the university. 15,528 patents. One university alone. And do you know how many patents are filed by Africa? 1.2 billion people. They are just around 17,000. A chunk of it are coming from South Africa. The rest of us in the Africa, we are more or less, the water that we are serving awake. I think we should be maybe taking a lot of that, just to wake up. So when I present papers, I sometimes use the water awake. That can we awake? Because things are happening and we are losing time. 600 invention disclosures per year, 600 licenses, 92 licenses per year, 20 new spin companies per year, generating 40.2 million gross annual income. Look at China again and the statistics that they have. This other day, many of our IP systems were even above China. China started taking the journey of intellectual property in 1990. In 2000, China revised their IP laws. 2008, revised their IP laws again. 2019, revised their IP laws again. And look at the outlook. Patents, they are controlling 48.8% globally in the world, beating United States. I was in China in 2004, And then when I went to China in 2004 with my colleagues, they told us that by 2016, every Chinese will have one patent. That was a policy they had designed. So they said they wanted to achieve 1 million patents by 2020. Trust you me, by 2016, China, for the first time in the history of the world, filed 1 million patent applications. And ever since, China has not stopped filing more than 1 million patent applications. Why has this thing happened? It is purely policy formulation and policy implementation, and of course, government support. But I am just highlighting these things to show to us that even without government support, the Sunyani Technical University, if you become deliberate to say next 2 years, we want to see action on inventive activity in the university. Trust me, you may not achieve 42.8%, but you'll be able to achieve 1.1%. Of course, we'll be heading towards the right direction, and that is what I'm calling for. That can we change our attitude towards these issues that we are addressing? It amazes me to see the 2020 figures. Look at the whole world. China alone filed 97.63 utility models in the whole world, which means every country put together, all the applications were filed by China. And the interesting aspect of this statistics is that about 90% of them were resident applicants, which means Chinese themselves are the ones filing applications. Can we pursue that course? Look at Africa's story. I think we should clap for Africa. Yeah, dear. Somebody said, yeah, dear. Yeah, dear. Patents, MC. 0.5%, 0.5%, 0.5%, 0.5%. My worry is not the 0.5%. My worry is, why are we persistently producing 0.5%? It means there is no policy guiding our research. Because if there is policy, look at China. They just started 1990, and over a period, look at what they are achieving. It means they have put policies in place to drive their research agenda. Can we do the same? I just want to finish on this. The Global Innovation Index. Global Innovation Index is an index that measures innovation of researchers and private and public decision makers. And so I tried to do some the Ghana's position on the Global Innovation Index for our benefit. Look at the Ghana's position on Global Innovation Index. Our institutions, our human capital and research, our business sophistication, market sophistication and infrastructure. If you look at this graph, for me, it doesn't show too much variation, but my worry is that it also tells me that there is no policy guiding us again. So the day we are only living on what pertains based on either DFIs, their intentions or their mandates or their aspirations or their whatever they seek to achieve out of the research, for which we collect their monies and then pursue that course. And I think that is quite, unfortunate, and we have to change these outlooks. Let me just skip the Ghana statistics, because I think this is also not something very interesting for us. 31 patents from Ghana, 26 patents 2017, 52 patents, and then 20 patents in 2020 is too abysmal. Therefore, my call is as follows. Can we have a mindset change? And yesterday I was very happy to hear that there are two aspects of mindset, right? They said fixed mindset and growth mindset. Can we all turn ourselves into growth mindset so that from today, I always speak in present tense? And I think the gentleman, professor, highlighted something that to that extent yesterday, that we must do it now so we can start having mindset. And the mindset is this: publish or perish. Can we talk about research outputs? and then work towards IP asset development. Innovate or perish. Can we also move into licensing, progressing into technology transfer, patent, publish, and prosper? Can we get towards the end of making income out of our research endeavors? And I think you highlighted it well, Prof, that in Nigeria, during the COVID era, there were some research efforts made towards development of vaccines, which is now paying off in Nigeria. And I have so many examples across Africa I can give to you. So Ghana, technical universities in Ghana, please, can we change this paradigm? I am just about to finish. Just the Finnish experience. It's not finished though. This is Finland. I'm only using the word Finnish to mean the people of Finland. Finnish people. They are 5.5 million, and then look at how much their research institutions have been able to achieve. 14 public research institutions, and they are generating 32 billion euros. A whooping 13.5%, of their GDP, generated by public research institutions. So we need to think about that. And then I think my last bit of it, which I thought probably should also help us to be able to address these questions, is the publish or perish syndrome. Then I want to read. The demand for academic publication as a sine qua non means at the scholar's disposal to disseminate knowledge and demonstrate academic talent to peers. Academic institutions and universities, as well as research institutions, frequently use the number of publications to an individual's credit as a measure of competency, criteria for recruitment, and promotion. Globally, it is estimated that at least 64 million academic papers have been published since 1996, and that every year at least 5.14 million academic papers are published. The increasing scientific articles have fueled the demand for new journals, and there is a lot of proliferation. And I want you to listen to this. Only 42% of the papers receive more than one citation. Only 42%. 5.25% of these are self-citations by the authors or journals. Majority of the publications still go uncited. Then it means that either the publication is not useful to society, or the publication is also not useful to industry. Because if they are not cited, then it means that, of course, there's no utility in them. There has been a study carried out in European Union on European technology transfer and commercialization landscape. The study revealed that EU countries have played leading role in terms of high-level scientific publications, but lag behind in the ability to convert this strength into wealth-generating innovations. And I think that is why we are here today. Can we turn our high-impact journal publications and transfer or transform at least 5% of them into wealth-generating income? And then the statistics are there for you to see. And then I have this aspect which then is showing the relationship between the publishing system and the patent system, and the fact that any of them can be used as a proxy for R&D outcomes. And then, of course, there's a cross-fertilization relationship between the publishing itself and the, patenting system, except that one entails cost, the other one, there's a minimum level of cost. But the other advantage is also that the other one, which entails cost, the patenting system, has a lot of benefits at the end of the commercialization process. And it is on the basis of that, Mr. Chair, I wish to close my presentation by highlighting 3 important recommendations for the 10 technical universities in this room. Can we have the next 2 years every technical university have an IP policy, not in a draft form. There are two words. I don't know whether they have, but we organized programs some time ago, and I think I've met one or two of you, Angie Hill, to stimulate universities in Ghana IP policy development. But I'm only highlighting that you need to have the IP policies in place. Not only that, we have also carried out studies to show that a number of universities are not implementing their IP policies. So can we implement our IP policy? The second recommendation is about this. Develop performance indicators for innovative and creative work. I remember when I was CSIR, I was part of the team that worked towards our conditions of service. And we're using the point system as well to incorporate IP-related matters into the promotion system or the performance indicators for innovative and creative research. And I've just given examples for your benefit. I have so many of them, so if you wish to have them, I can also provide that. Then my last recommendation, the government through the Ghana Jobs and Skills Development Project commissioned us, and I was the lead consultant of that project, to develop model technology transfer and research collaborative agreements. And we have come up with about 35 or 31 model technology transfer and research collaborative agreements. They are models, templates. The government has approved them. Can we disseminate this in our universities so that the relationship with industry that we are seeking to achieve, we formalize the relationship? It has also been proven that a lot of our work are done informally by way of gentleman's agreement. So these model agreements, I think, are very useful, and I recommend that the technical universities also use them. Thank you very much for your understanding.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Saki, if you would kindly take a seat for me here. May I now respectfully invite Professor Enesufuri Asamoah also to come and take a seat, as well as Mr. Julius Lamte to take a seat here. Once again, a big round of applause to Mr. Emmanuel Saki for that energetic presentation. That 1 hour presentation looked like 20 minutes to me because I wanted to listen on and on and on. And I admire his passion anytime he's talking about IP. Thank you very much, Mr. Saki. Prof. Chair, may I crave for your indulgence to zoom into the Q&A section, after which you will give your closing remarks. So the usher team, please take the microphone down. Take the microphone down for me as we begin Q&A section. So Professor Asamoah spoke about improving research, industry collaboration for wealth and job creation, and Mr. Saki just talked about beyond publish or perish, how we can maximize impact of our research through global intellectual property system. Earlier, Mr. Lamte had spoken about bridging the research industry gap, the case of Greek. So the resource persons are here. You draw the attention of the moderator here and you direct your question to a specific resource person who will answer. Please go to the back there. I can see 2 hands, left side first. Then you come to Dr. Makuku. Thank you.
Hello?
The microphone is already on.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, go on, please. It's on.
Yeah, thank you, the presenters. But my question goes to Prof.
Please kindly introduce yourself so that we can identify the speaker to the question you
My
asked.
name is Daniel Finn, Assistant Lecturer VIA of STU. That's Visual Industrial Department of STU.
Okay.
Yes, Prof made a recommendation, most especially about the tax incentive of companies giving supporting research. My observation, if you come down to our part of Ghana, most of the happens to be multinational companies, and they mostly take command from their head offices. I've once had an experience where I went to a company trying to know more about what they do so that we can come. This company is a company, and to my surprise, they were blocking us. They were not ready to accept. When I mentioned I'm a university, straight away they had this thought that maybe we are come to learn to give whatever that we've learned to send it out. So in his recommendation, I would have wished or suggested if multinational companies coming down in the government, if they can give the opportunity to the academics, most especially our students who want to do internship, and as we propose, lecturers also want to depart. If they can, because we didn't know how to report this case, and not only one, about 3 companies that we have that experience. So in that case, how do we go about those situations?
Question noted, difficulty in getting access to the industry. Now come to Registrar of Sunyani Technical University, after which Dr. Makuku also raised a hand, and we take that. So that one goes to Professor Oforia Samoa. Wanted to find out how to minimize difficulties and challenges they encounter when assessing industry for collaborative research. Thank you. Mr. Samuel Nkamabo, Registrar Sunyani Technical University, please go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Said, get me that microphone. But get this one to him in the meantime.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator Piero. My question goes to my friend in the middle, the one from University of Toronto. I visited a friend at University of York, Toronto, a professor there, and he opened his computer and said, "Mr. Obo, look at the research that I have undertaken in collaboration with industry. Huge sum on his computer for the university. And when you undertake it, there's a percentage that goes to you as an individual and then the university. My question is that what practical steps, and the practical is underlined, would you take to collaborate with technical universities so that we can write grants and get these things through, so that we can also build our institutions, both capacities are building capacity and actual collaboration where we write grants for the institution. We'll be meeting almost every 2 years. We discuss everything, and then we, you know, when you brought the figures, we were all saying, oh, these are huge ones. But after here, very few people or will implement what we are going through. I want practical steps which will make the technical university stand out, because we are supposed to do applied research and come out with concrete things that will benefit all of us. So I want you to outline this. So that's why the question is to you alone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let us go to Dr. Makuku. He is a global icon in the area of quality assurance. Doc, you are most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope that it's both questions and comments which can be taken. Because in my case, I just want to make a few submissions. A part of it is that the institutions, although we have heard his submission, our level of approaching industry and frequency should be increased. Because we have a lot of PhD, maybe master's programs where students are awarded distinctions and merits. Where are they? Why are we not hand-holding our students and move to them to certain industries? There's no time. But I could have given an example of Durban University of Technology and what they've done. Time permitting, later I'll do it. Then we need to check the needs of our enclaves. Sunyani Technical University, what are the needs around? If we are in Takora DVC, what are the needs? We don't need to look for artificial. That's our problem. We look for artificial challenges when real challenges are there. But we can only get it from the people in there. Involve students is the third one. Sometimes we undermine students because we say they are younger than us, but don't forget some students are even more intelligent than us, despite the fact that they were born later than us. Let's collaborate and work with students. And then I follow with the beneficiation policy. If we work with students, lecturers, and the institution, what does the student get? Even after graduation, I know a university where they developed snake venom treatment. The students graduated, they left, but they still sold the snake venom treatment. The institution, the students, and lecturers involved all got something up to now. It's a patent. There's no culture of registering patents. When he said annually, you said annually Africa is 0.5, 0.5. It's because there's no culture of patent registration or copyright registration. Lack of cutting-edge research is another one. It's very problematic. People just do it for promotion, but not for prosperity. So let me go on quickly. Promotion based on patents and copyrights can help us. Please, let us try to introduce criteria whereby promotion is also scoring more for those who are coming up with patents or products and solutions that can be registered either as copyrights or patents. Interdisciplinary research, ICT and something. What I saw there is a bit lacking outside. And then we need to complete the research process. In most cases, it ends with publications. And then there are people who are employed in Africa. They are paid more than your salary, maybe 10 times. Some get 10,000 US dollars monthly with medical aid, housing and everything, just to track the researches in Africa. It is not that we are not good in our researches. We are very good, particularly in ICT. But because we don't patent, they take it and patent it there. They come and do all sorts of things. Promotion. We need to consider local journals. Let me come to the Vice Chancellor. Vice Chancellors, the issue is that for promotion, you say international accredited journals. but then you are promoting other people's journals. You mean in Africa we don't have accredited journals? When we say accredited journals, people start thinking about Europe, Australia, and America. In Africa, we have a lot of accredited journals. And I'm one of the South African ones. They have a list of excellent accredited journals. So let's identify them and publish in there. We need to establish institutional journals, register them, quality assure them, let people publish. I'm answering why he said there's only one citation of our papers. It's because you send them to America and Europe. Once they take your patents and results and recommendations, they throw it away. But here, we now remain with published papers. And the last one, capacity building. We need capacity building. I'm glad and proud of Sunyani Technical University. We did our research methods, academic writing, and also grant writing. Within that, they got 2 grants, one with goal for battery manufacturing. The other one, if you don't know, they are constructing a center of excellence out of another grant. So we need to do more. I also want to do it with the other institutions. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Violet Makuku. She has been our 4th guest speaker this morning, touching on every aspect of the presentations, from our approach to industries to how we can strengthen collaboration with them, relationship between students and lecturers, promotion based on patents and copyright rather than focusing on publications. She talked about strengthening local journals, capacity building, amongst many others. Dr. Violet Makuku, thank you very much. Shall we take 1 or 2 before we come to the resource persons? Any other at this stage? Madam, please, you are warmly welcome.
All right, hello, thank you. I'm Emily Ohine from Biennial Technical University. Yes, I think the first speaker, when you were talking about collaboration, you forgot to add business. Or business is not part of something that brings genuine publications. I saw ICT, I saw other things neglecting business publication or business articles. Or that one does not generate a huge income like the way you want it. And you know, we are also serving other people too. So when you are taking things into consideration, do kindly consider that one as well. The next one goes to Mr. Saki. I think you did say that some research that you do, we should cross-check and see if it has been done before. May I know that research that is done in US cannot be done in Accra? Because it looks as if it has been done before, so it shouldn't be done here. But I think context also matter in terms of this, for us to even know either there's variation or there's consistency. So I think that one can also be factored in some cases. Yes, Mr. Grantmanship, yes, collaboration in terms of grants, we need it. But I think we always come and it's always like this. Tell us how you should write grants. This is how you request for grants. Write it this way and you'll be able. This is how you solicit for a patent. If you want to patent something, these are the things that should be unique in them. But we always come, it's like this. I quite remember one time in ATU, we had 2 of our professors putting us down, telling us how we should even write article. And I must be fun to tell you that I could write article my own. I don't need anybody. Just do this. So let us have practicality of whatever we want to do. Because we don't know, that is why we don't even patent it. We don't know what should we patent. So how we patent? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other? Or may I pause here? We will take second round of questions. Now there is gender parity, 2 male, 2 females. So I'll hand over the microphone. I think the first question came to Professor Oforia Samoa. So you start and we continue from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The first question was from Mr. Obin, that MNC, that's non-multinational institutions. Okay. So basically, it's difficult to prescribe how you should approach MNC, but multinational institutions are everywhere. First has to do with the issue of tax. Every company is supposed to abide by the laws of the country. So if the law says, the tax law indicate that if you support HEIs, higher education institutions, and you provide a proof that in the course of the year you supported Sunyani Technical University, Takwani Technical University, or any institution into this research, and this is the outcome, and there's a proof your tax is 20%, that's the law. Whether it's a multinational institution or it's a local institution, that's the law. And they have to abide by, because once the multinational, they are in other countries, so they also abide by the laws of those countries. The approach of entering or they not align, I think you need to look at the approach. I can't prescribe exactly the approach, but you need to look at the approach of engaging the MNC. In the continent of Africa, I do engage a lot of companies, because as part of our collaboration with the 8 African institutions, they have students who come to University of Toronto, average of about 50 students a year. So we by how we work, they are supposed to come back to Africa to do internship. And so we have a lot of collaboration with institutions, multinational institutions. And so you have even more than we want. So probably look at the approach. I may not be able to describe approach. We have a lot more than we want. They rather even chase us on so many things rather than the other way around. The second one has to do with practical steps, practical underline to help us to. I don't know whether the U refers to me as Ernest or it refers to UFT, University of Toronto U. Okay, so practically, UFT work mostly on the African continent on the 8 institutions that we have. With the 8 institutions, some of these things, last 2 weeks or so, we had an IP training for Kia University, which is one of the partners. So a rep from University of Toronto, because we believe in specialization, came from University of Toronto and had a training in Kia University on IP processes, because he has Paul, who facilitated that training, have 80 patents. And so he knows practically how to go through with that. So he took them through and the other universities that we have that relationship. In terms of grants, yes, we do. I think last about a month or so, we did for UCT, that's University of Cape Town, ALU, Africa Leadership University, and others, on practical grant writing, because there were a lot of GAC, that's Global Affairs Canada, facilities you needed to access. So for the collaborating institutions or partner institutions you have in Africa, that is done practically. But when you are not, probably we have to consider other options or so. But we collaborate with a lot of institutions on research. University of Ghana, I think Cape Coast is the highest in terms of collaboration. So all the 3 campuses of UFT collaborate with universities on research. So while that collaboration is going on, sometimes some of the researchers go there to do the research, or some of our researchers come here to do the research, and they do joint publication. They take you through, we can take you through some of these things if there are other needs in terms of grant and application and others. But technically to say yes is to our collaborating institutions, but on research generally, that one, that's the one you have one-on-one with some of the institutions, and that is one thing that opening up for if some of the TUs want to have joint research, joint collaboration, joint publication, that is open. We can look at that and probably work on that. I'm not too sure whether it is practically taking you through, but let's take it that at least we begin from theory to practice. Thank you.
Your own initiative.
Me.
You are making UCC, you are making KBS. What are you going to do for technical universities? That's the practical plan.
Okay, so the technical universities, when you have that need, let me know. Let me know so that even if it's not me, we have a lot of specialists in various areas. So even if it's not me practically, or if it is me, then it can support. So if you have a let us know, then I will just put it up. Thank you. I think it now becomes practical.
Mr. Saki, I think some questions were directed at you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you also for your interest and the questions. Let me just start with your questions. I think that was the last question. Two issues. The first one has to do with the practical approach in, well, let me not even say patenting, just securing intellectual property rights. We have various practical approaches that have
already been documented. And for your own information, I used to be the chief examiner in patents in the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization. So I know the processes for securing intellectual property rights. It's just that sometimes at this forum, you can't go into operational issues. That's why we just leave those ones out and then highlight the key policy levers that are necessary, and then we do that. But I think what I was just saying was that there are so many capacity building programs. Maybe at the end of this conference, there could be a high-level resolution highlighting the key issues that need to be addressed. And then we can pass them on to the appropriate institutions for action to be taken. For me, I prefer working like that. I used to, the WIPO process that I mentioned to you. Some of us were framers of that. I remember when sitting in Uganda, and then we told ourselves that we need to change the IGC process going on in Geneva. And then we developed proposals to Geneva. And that is what started changing the conversation and the narrative at the international level. And today, and that's why I was telling that I'm very proud of it, because all the WIPO treaties, it's only this one Africans and developing countries have led. So it is possible we can get some of these things, but they must come through high-level resolutions or communique or some kind of recommendations. Then we can pass it on to government. The technical universities, they need help. We take it to WIPO. They come and train you for a week. Then we get all the various technical and then the operational issues as well. Then the other one, which has to do with the state of the art. I think I was rushing, and I guess you understand the state of the art. I am sewing kaba. I just want to be very simple. I sit in my house, and then I sew kaba. And then I say, what a beautiful kaba. Now, I go and take a catalog containing kaba. And then I discover that what I have sewn, there are plenty of them in the catalog. What have I done? I have not done anything. I just imagined a solution. I did it before going to consult the catalog. I thought the brilliant idea should be, I need to consult the catalog first and find out whether what I have in my mind is contained in the catalog or is not contained in the catalog. If it is contained in the catalog, I don't need to waste my brain trying to figure out what to do. I just copy what is there and then I go away. That's what I'm talking about. You are operating in a research area. Do you know the state of the art? That's my question. Do you know the state of that? What are people doing in my field of research? Where is technology, has the technology reached in my field of research? Otherwise, the village next to Sunyani, they will come and say, we need borehole. And then you go and sit in the laboratory and then design, well, not laboratory, maybe engineering somewhere, and design a borehole, right? And then go and give it to them. If you bring that borehole to me, I will go into the patent document and tell you that 20 years ago, somebody did the same borehole. So why did you spend money to go and do the borehole? You shouldn't have done that. So my recommendation is that every researcher in this room, in your field of endeavor, try and then determine the state of the art. Otherwise, you are operating in the dark. In the solution, that's what I was just mentioning. The other question, Doc, brilliant intervention. I think you should have been the one speaking here, and then I will be sitting down listening to you. What a brilliant summary of what I just did. I just want to just say one thing about it. We need to try to appreciate some of these things that we have discussed. We just need to appreciate them. Working in an enclave, it is already known. You know, the third mandate of universities is not community development. And how do we develop the community? It is just your immediate surrounding. Those of us who know the Bible a little bit, they say, you will be witnesses of me in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and then the others. That's how technology transfer should occur. Your immediate surrounding, you extend it to the other place, and then it moves on. So I think these issues are very clear, and I am very happy that you have brought them. The issue of patent culture. Patent culture is developed through an innovation culture. Innovation culture, I have always told universities that you have already developed research publication culture. Over the years, you need also to develop innovation culture. And the first point of call is the institutional IP policy being implemented, and then creating innovation awards and competition in our various universities. They help us to develop the innovation culture. If you want me to help you to develop patents, I can do so. I mean, I can look at all your researches that you are conducting here and tell you which ones can really be patentable and which ones cannot. It's just that people pay for these things to be done. And then I have gone to spend a lot of money, chopping money, and then I come, maybe when I ask you to pay me money, you will say you will not be able to pay the money. So we will try and find a way to address these questions at the 10 technical university level. So I think those are the issues that I thought I should respond to. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, Madam, back to your question on the business. Why didn't we include business? So for us, what we do at Greg is that any research outputs or innovation that has relevance for business or industry, it's something that we really want to focus on. The areas that I made mention is this teased out from the Ghana-UK strategy. So those were the areas that I teased out from. But what we do at Greg is that if there is any research that you have done that has immediate need for businesses pertaining to your area, would accept that. Also, one key thing is that I think, as someone made mention, that businesses are actually looking at ways to improve their sustainability issues and then their corporate social responsibility. There are several social sciences research or business research that can be tailored or taken up by these businesses to account for their sustainability approaches. So for instance, I know Fidelity Bank is key on sustainability. So if there are several researches that we have done that has communal impact, these are the things that we would want to showcase to these businesses who are key on driving sustainability and tell them that there are research done in, let's say, community that helps to drive
communal group. If you are interested, we can pair you to that researcher to help you upscale that. There was also the issue on internships. I think the approach is to go through targeted approach. So with Greg, what we are doing currently in partnership with Expertise France is that we want to use Greg as a vehicle where, based on the expertise of these students and then the institutions that they are coming from, we matchmake or we pair them with businesses that have need of them. And they are not only going there for the internship, but first of all, their mindset are trained, or we orient their mindset, understanding that you are going there to apply your insights to address key issues that these businesses have. So that's the approach that we are undertaking. And then also, in terms of the capacity building, that's one of the main reasons why I'm here, to be able to understand the needs, the gaps of researchers, so that constantly when we have the opportunity to engage the donor community, they come to us, what do you want to do? But we believe that we have to co-create these programs. And so if I don't understand the needs that industry or researchers have, we may design programs that may not actually benefit. And that's what we do at IGH. When we meet the donor partners, we tell them that, fine, you have this approach, this is what you want to do, but from the ground, this really wouldn't help us. And so let us do it this way. So I'm glad that I'm here, and it's our expectation that there will be that high-level resolution that I can pick key things of interest and then be able to discuss with other partners. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We wish we could take more questions, but if we look at the schedule, we are far behind. So may I crave for your indulgence to move on to invite the chair to give his closing remarks. In the meantime, please be reminded that the resource persons' presentations, I believe the LOC Secretariat will have copies and will be sent to individuals. Their contacts will be there. And during the snack break, if you have questions, they will be available one-on-one to handle your questions. I now invite the VCTUG chair to come and give us the closing remarks for this session, after which we go for snack break and break into our presentation rooms. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. In my humble opinion, these three gentlemen deserve a standing ovation. Can we do that for them? Please, let's clap. I mean, their presentations are so excellent, and please sit down. You would wonder whether they conferred before coming. No, honestly. If you recall, yesterday I talked about our main duties in the universities being, what is it you teach, you research, and you do community service or extension. They have addressed all these three, and they have opened our eyes to how best we can do that. Even to teach well, you need to be abreast with the current trends in your field. Unfortunately, many of us still turn up in lecture halls with brown sheets of paper, notes we have prepared for decades. We still go with it. And if the students should be mischievous and collect those from you, then you will not be able to deliver your lecture. Some of us, is that not it? In fact, I know once students stole the lecturer's notes and they gave me hell. Please, if there are students here, don't do that. So even to teach well, we need to be abreast. And how can we do that? You read. Read the latest publications. That is how you can find gaps. Because I really, in fact, looking at it, I wouldn't say we have been doing irrelevant research, but if I will be frank, most of the things we churn out are not useful to industry. That is why they are probably not paying attention to us. So the presentation time so well that I wish we could even just listen to them for the rest of the day, because they have told us what it will take us to get there. So from the teaching, then the research. So they've said, look, find out what is already out there, so that you don't finish working before you now find out, only to discover that your work has already, in fact, that's even one of the reasons getting published becomes difficult. But wherever you go, your work is already there. Journalists will struggle to accept it. And I'm particularly happy that Mr. Lamte, you have made it, you have opened our eyes. Even without going to the Greek platform, you should already write an abstract that will be easily understood by anybody. Unfortunately, we don't do that. So you take an abstract and you're wondering, where is even the problem that this person is solving? Is it really justified? You can't see. So for me, research must be done to fill a gap or to improve upon the existing knowledge, not to just mere repetition. Unfortunately, that's what people do. Sometimes you go and pick an already published work and try to change certain things just to get data and be promoted. You know, it is the system that has pushed us to behave like this. There's a vicious cycle, but you've shown us how to break that cycle. Because we don't have money, we are not adequately resourced to do research. You do very rudimentary things, which cannot go far. And because it cannot go far, industry is not interested. So you don't get funded, so you go back to doing the same thing. But now you've told us that if we really identified what they need, unfortunately in developing countries, fortunately for the developing world, they are lucky that the industries actually direct research in the universities. They come to the university and tell you, we want you to research in this area. And then whatever money you need is available. Equipment, everything. Unfortunately, here, it's not like that. Of course, because we have not gone far with our relationship with industry. So I'm particularly thrilled about some of the recommendations. So I'll maybe look at one or two of them, and then we see what we can do. The Greek platform, yes, we need to go there, visit the platform and see what is there. And I've already touched on the fact that research output does not match industry needs. I think this should be ringing in our heads all the time, that until we make a conscious effort. In fact, yesterday my attention was drawn to the fact that the industry players are underrepresented at this conference. Have you realized that? They are seriously underrepresented, and yet we are seeking their attention. So I'm just saying this ahead, that the next host, when we are planning, let's make sure we bring in more of them and have even special sessions. In fact, most conferences, you even have there are sessions that just to engage them alone. And then depending on what you are doing, they may disclose to you what money they have to support what area. So we should try to be fifth generation universities. And also draft policies. We should make policy drafts from research findings. That is very important. Whatever we do is sitting on our shelves. The outside world hardly knows that there's something there. All is not lost anyway, because I believe we have some inventions that we are taking for granted, that if we were to take out there, we would make something. I recall going to South Africa some years back. Just had my poster, and somebody came and whispered. Of course, I didn't know what I know today. Came and whispered that, you see this your work here. If you don't hurry, they're going to steal it, because there's a lot in it, but you don't seem to see. They just told me that they will pick this thing, and when you see it, you will recognize that that is it. So that is what it is with most of our work. So Yeah, so we will try to involve or increase industry participation next time. And then making our research output available to industry through the databases, I think is very good. And I'm sure Greek is offering us that opportunity. We'll see how to explore further. I would say that you may want to engage us also at one of the meetings of the Vice Chancellors. I'll be very happy to give you a slot to engage us more, because I don't like stories. We've given Ghanaians tell a lot of nice stories, but the action is always the problem. So I would like you to zero in on us. We are the people, the implementers, so that we see how we can get out of this shell. It's so embarrassing that when people are doing 95%, the whole of Africa is at 0.5. When are we getting there? And we always have the reasons why we can't get there. Is that not it? We always have the reasons. If I ask now, we will all have the reasons why we are not getting there. Internship for academics, I think it's very good. And visits, colleague visits, let's consider it. I've already talked about one of the things here. Innovation awards. So we could have even sourced funding to give awards at this conference, I believe. But because of ignorance, we are perishing here. Next time we'll learn from it. Yes, IP policies. Very, very important. Intellectual property policies. I believe some of us have. My university has one. The draft. We are going to make sure we do it properly. Maybe we'll even give it to you to look at and advise us whether it's properly done. That's the first line. I'm sure for this one, it will attract anything. Okay. That one will be free. Okay. Oh, now you won't clap for us. We already have a policy. So he will look at it and see how to advise on its implementation. And then developing performance indicators for innovative and creative research. I think I like that approach. Even developing this CPD system for rewarding people or staff that are doing research relevant to industry. I think it's something worth considering. And if we do that, you have our presenter from Toronto. In fact, MC, you said 10%. If they even give us 5%, I think we'll be happy on what they are getting. Okay. Look at when China woke up. And in a few years, they are already where America is yet to get to. So it's about believing in ourselves. Unfortunately, sometimes we just don't believe in ourselves. So please, I think we can do it. These presenters have demonstrated that it's absolutely possible. Yesterday, there was some related presentation which pointed to the fact that most of the brains conducting cutting-edge research are over there. But it's not entirely true. It's just because we are not smart. We are used to generate the information. My colleague was hinting that some of them actually steal from us, and they take the credit. After all, if you have something good and you don't know how to sell it, well, others will steal it and sell. So they just wait for you to struggle, and then they pick it and go and sell. They are up there, and then you are down here always begging for support. So on this note, I'm going to recommend that we should have resolutions from this conference. And I mean that. I'll be looking forward to some resolutions from this conference. Sorry? That the VCTUG will consider so that we implement them, because we've had a lot of presentations, nice ones, right from yesterday to today. And the sessions, as we were told, the panel sessions, very, very rich. There's a lot that went on, and I'm sure today, I was looking at it to see how I can go around everywhere. But unfortunately, I can't be everywhere. Let's try. Don't run back. There's a lot to get from here. So I'll be looking forward to some resolutions that hopefully should come to us before the next meeting of the Vice Chancellors of Technical Universities, so that we look at them and then try to implement them to make all this effort that people have put in to open our eyes very useful. On this note, I want to thank you for your cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Prof. We are now breaking for the snack break, but let me quickly invite Dr. Rekia to Asai to give us. Thank you very much. Because of time, we will quickly end this session by thanking the VCTUG. The Vice Chancellors are all here. Remember, this conference is under the auspices of VCTUG, so we thank you so much for this session, and we thank all the participants who are here for this very important session. Please, when we break, Vice Chancellors and their registrars, keynote speakers will be going to the council chamber, whilst all of us will stay here for our snack, after which we will quickly break into the sessions. Seth, kindly help us quickly with the various rooms where we'll be going. Room 1, I know, is here. That is going to be chaired by Professor Samuel Riafe here after the snack break. And we will have one session here. The rest are...
All right, so room 3 is A1. Just right at the main administration staff conference floor above the first room on your right is room A1. And then room 4 is our ACMI block, last floor. Room 1, third floor, room 1 is room 4 here. And then room 5 is also at the same block, ACMI block, the last floor, the Entrepreneurship Hub. When you get there, there's a note or a sign on the room, Entrepreneurship Hub. And then room 6 is just at the university clinic, the police post, the same building where the police post is located, the research and grant office. Room 6 is located in that block. And then room 9 is also at the ACMI block, the last floor. Third floor, room 3 is room 9. So please take note, and then we welcome you to that session.
So just note the room number. If you need any assistance, our ushers will be strategically positioned around. If you mention the room you want to participate in, they will take you there. So we bring this session to an end for snack break, after which we break into the sessions. Thank you so much, and may God bless us all. Please remember, we will have cocktail dinner and the awards night at this very auditorium. The time is 5 p.m. So awards, cocktail dinner at this very important hall. Thank you so much.